friends, welcome back to the McGuire Home Collection Friends Friday. Today we welcome Jeanette Jurczyk. She is a mom in our community. She's a commercial real estate broker and also oversees That's What She Said and the She Said project.
Right.
So we are anxious to talk about everything that she has going on in our community and her plans for the future. And let's get started.
Thanks, Nicole.
Yes, thanks for coming in. Talk to us a little bit about why you started getting involved with the She Said project and what does that look like?
I'm so glad you asked. So I moved back to Champaign in 2009 when I married my husband. And my background is actually in theater. I was living in Los Angeles, living the life of a starving artist, trying to pursue my dream. But when I married Brian and I came back to Champaign, I started working in real estate. I had some real estate experience from my previous life. And so I worked in student housing, and then I moved over to commercial real estate, which was a lot of fun. I went and got an MBA. I was pursuing business and enjoying it. However, my passion always lied in theater, and so that piece was missing. And so we had our beautiful children, and I was totally in mom world. And so that takes all of your commitment when they're little. But one day I woke up, my youngest was about 18 months old, and I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to find something that's more fulfilling. And boom, like right around that time is when I met the three women who created and founded That's What She Said and the She Said project. And so I give a ton of credit to Carrie Rosso, Jill Herlin-Pierce, and Casey Wakefield, who are the originators, the creators of That's What She Said. But I had a wonderful chance meeting with Carrie Rosso in the spring of 2015. And we were both working on Power of the Purse with United Way. And I learned about the She Said project, I learned about the show, and because I had a background in theater, I offered my services. And the cosmos aligned, and we ended up working together, and I got to direct the 2015 show and the 2016 show. And then things changed, and they took a break, and then we relaunched in 2019, and I'm now the national director of the She Said project.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Isn't it funny how, I mean, even as moms, it's like, okay, great, we're putting in all this time, 24 hours a day being a mom, but sometimes we need a little something else just to feel fulfilled and pursue our own personal passions and have our kids, and for you and for me, have our daughters watch what we're doing and how to manage all of that, a job, your passions, running a household, momming.
I think that is so important. So there's the responsibilities of bringing in an income and being a working professional and showing that to your children. But it is also important that you don't lose yourself in the process, whether it's in the process of being a mom, in the process of being in the working environment. But
and not feeling guilty.
Correct.
Doing that as well.
You have something that drives you and is fulfilling your passions, and then you get to pass that along. You get to, and share that with your children.
Well, it becomes a gift to them instead of taking time away. And I think that sometimes, that pressure, you're not taking time away from them, but it's truly a gift to show them as they're growing and evolving and deciding who they are and what they want to do, and understand that it's okay to have passion and drive.
And that they should pursue their dreams.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I watch you with your girls, and I definitely admire that. So that's
thank you.
why I brought it up. But you talked about getting involved with That's What She Said and the theater, and I know that you work with the women on creating their story, and every single one of us has a story. And it's how do we tell ourselves that story, and how do we tell the world that story and make an impact? Because it's nice to know that you can relate with other women. It gives me goosebumps. Even just sitting in the audience and listening to the stories, I just felt like I had goosebumps so many times, just knowing I don't know this woman personally, but I can relate on a level that is different than knowing her name and what she's doing every day. So tell me your favorite part about helping these women create their story, pull it out, and tell it.
So you absolutely nailed it. The entire premise of That's What She Said is that everyone has a story. In fact, we all have thousands of stories, little things that happen to us every day, big events in our lives, tragedies we've had to overcome. We could sit here and pull out a story that you could share on stage and you'd have 1,000 women saying, oh my God, I know what that's like.
Right.
It is about finding that human connection, that Me Too moment.
Yes.
I've been there, I understand. Oh my God, I'm not alone. That's so important.
Right.
What's really remarkable for me during the process is I get to work with each and every woman who has agreed to stand on stage and boldly and bravely stand in front of a microphone and tell their story in front of 1,000 or more strangers, or friends, new friends. But for me, it's the story behind the story. So I have spent months with these women, and there have been many coffee dates where we've sat down and talked through their life events and found the moment that we want to share, and then we get to craft it and create it and polish it and get it ready for the stage. So there's this moment for me when each speaker is about to talk on stage and the audience is hearing their story for the first time, and what's going through my mind is nothing short of a movie montage of all the moments leading up to that moment of the story behind the story, why we chose that story, what was going on in that woman's life, why the impact that we know is about to be made on the women who hear her story. It's incredible.
Do you find that as you're working through that process and these women are telling you a story in a coffee house or something, does it, as they talk and process it, does it help change their perception of maybe what happened to them? Or, I mean, is it a healing process at the same time as they're just able to tell the world or tell you?
It sure can be. I mean, we're pretty clear that we're not therapists and this is not therapy. However, there's great relief in the telling of our stories, the secrets that we've been holding on to for so long because we're so afraid of people judging us, or so afraid that we've been suffering alone, and just sharing with one, and then it becomes two, and it becomes a group of 10, and then you're no longer afraid to share with the world, and then the world lights up with everyone saying, oh man, I've been there, me too, and it's this huge sense of relief and empowerment that your story can have an absolute impact. But I've seen so many moments where these women have found that moment of being brave and being bold and knowing, okay, this is going to be hard, but I am going to do it, and it absolutely can. It can have a changing effect.
I almost picture their lives just getting up to that point before they stand on that stage, and it's almost like, in my mind, that is a defining moment for them to then, oh my gosh, now they're just living their lives. So it's like, okay, they've been doing all of these things, and then all of a sudden, okay, I told my story, and now I'm free to go live my life, and that vulnerability brings in relationships that otherwise wouldn't exist.
If you talk to any of the women who have performed in That's What She Said to date, absolutely. Okay. There is this huge power in the moment, in the vulnerability. It is life transforming, and I'm speaking for them, but I'm pretty sure they would share that with you. Some of the fun things are sitting down with the speaker and having her go, I don't know what to talk about. I don't have a story. Nothing interesting has happened to me. And then immediately I said, well, tell me where you're from and tell me what it's like. And I'll tell you a quick example of Tanisha King-Taylor, who appeared in the 2019 show in Champaign. We sat across from each other in a restaurant, and she said she had all these ideas of things she wanted to talk about. I'm like, Tanisha, just tell me your story. She's like, what? I'm just a black girl from the south side of Chicago. And I looked at her and I said, I don't know what that's like. Tell me what that's like to be just a black girl from the south side of Chicago. And she started unfolding her story. I'm like, that's amazing. Right. Just being you is amazing enough to open the minds of hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people, to know what it's like to be you in this world.
As you're talking, I just wanted to share something that I sent to my team earlier this week, and it was about a cocoon. And this guy was watching it, and he said, okay, I'm just gonna wait for it to evolve into this moth. And he started to see some movement and a little hole and a lot of progress, and then it stopped. And so he thought, okay, I'm gonna help this moth come out and enjoy the world. So he cut it and made it possible for the moth to fly away. And he realized that the moth had a huge body and little tiny wings. And over time, as he watched that moth, he realized that wasn't the best thing to do. That wasn't the time for that moth to come and be a moth.
It needed more
time in. So it needed to open that space, and it knew exactly how much space to open. So maybe telling your story to 2 or 3 people, and coming back in, and then letting it it itself grow. It needed more space then for the fluids from its body to go to its wings and form. So, and then it's like reaching that point of the stage is just kind of the launch of the Moth. I don't know why that came to me, but
what a great
we
metaphor.
just read it earlier
It's a
this
fantastic metaphor, because you're right, that Moth knew and he thought he was helping by cracking it open, but there's a time.
Right.
It's all about the timing.
Exactly.
Agreed.
So interesting. And I just wanted to point out too that we are sitting on some of the furnishings because that's what she said. Bloomington Normal allowed the McGuire Home Collection to furnish the stage,
That's right.
and that was the first time we had designed a stage set. But we loved that process and just getting to know and coming to a couple of the what's it called?
Rehearsals.
Yes, thank you. Coming to the rehearsals and just hearing the women tell their stories and saying, okay, this is how we're going to set it up, and knowing, we picked navy couches that have feminine touches, but they're bold, they're deep, they're blue, because the stories are so deep. And just knowing, okay, let's pair some soft blush chairs in
Like
with this one, and it's so soft, and getting the colors, because there's so many, colors of the women, and
Yes.
getting to design something that was a representation of the stories that they were telling was it was such an honor for us, and hopefully we get to do some more for you in the future.
Yeah, we definitely need to share that with your friends. It was such an honor to have the McGuire Home Collection on board, like Nicole said. They were a sponsor. They actually designed the set for the first ever That's What She Said in Bloomington Normal, and these are the pieces that were on stage. So if you watch that video on YouTube of That's What She Said in Bloomington Normal, you'll see how the stage was designed, and just like you said, it was incredible to represent different colors and textures, and to add to the women's stories, to create that environment where they felt comfortable and bold and sexy and brave and vulnerable and all that. We've got another show coming up in Champaign, February 22nd, another 10 women are going to be sharing their stories in Champaign at the Virginia Theater. And Nicole McGuire and your team, you've been on board as a supporter for the past year. Not only did you design the stage for the Bloomington show, but you have been supportive of the teen program, That's What Teens Say, for the past
That'll make me cry.
2 sessions. And you've made it possible. You've actually made it possible for 20 girls to go through the process of finding their own story and standing on stage and bravely sharing. And just everything you said about these women and working towards that moment where they feel that sense of relief and freedom, we get to do that with local teen girls, and it has been an incredible journey.
And what a gift at their age too. We're old, I guess, in 40s, and anybody, let's say anybody over 25, okay? But these women telling their stories at a later stage in life versus the teenagers being able to tell their stories so young and find maybe that's just cutting open the cocoon a little bit, but then, they evolve and grow.
I wish I had a program like this in my teen years to let out some of that teen angst.Maybe things would have gone differently for me then, but I can't complain. I'm pretty happy with how everything turned out.
It's a great event, and I really hope that our viewers today can attend on February 22nd and continue to watch you grow as you expand into other markets.
And that's pretty powerful too, because what we're seeing is that That's What She Said has had such an incredible impact, not just on the women on stage, but on the community, the Champaign-Urbana community.
Yes.
And so we are taking That's What She Said to new communities. We launched in Bloomington Normal.
Right.
We're starting a process in Peoria, Illinois. We're talking to women and women's groups across the country who want to learn how they can produce That's What She Said in their town. We want to create a national movement, raising women's voices one story at a time. We love that the McGuire Home Collection is on board to support us each step of the way as we're growing. We just launched the She Said Project podcast. So now you can listen to some of these stories either again or for the first time. And it's an NPR supported podcast. We're so honored to be working with Illinois Public Media and NPR to get these stories in front of new audiences.
So you have the movement for That's What She Said, and we have the McGuire Movement that we're working on across the country. And That's What She Said gets women to tell their stories, and we're working to bring other women into the industry, into leadership roles in their own business for construction. So you're inspiring us with this movement,
It's
and
incredible.
like, it's just, let's bring all the women in.
But you are a woman in a male-dominated industry.
Yes, absolutely.
Design, construction, building. This is a huge opportunity for you as well. Timing is so good right now for women. Women have something to say. Women are hungry
Always.
for community and for leadership and to prove something.
Right.
So thank you for all that you're doing to support and inspire women as well.
And just like talking, it's so many women want to tell their story. They're right there, and you give them a platform to do that. And that's what the McGuire Movement is doing, giving them a platform to, they might be excellent in design or have a degree in architecture, but they don't know how to take the next steps into actually building an entire house, or how do you tear down a house and remodel it. They don't know the next steps. So we're putting all of those systems and processes in place to allow women to come on board with us.
That's incredible. I don't think anyone has ever done anything like that.
Not that we have found, but even if they do, come join us too, and let's team up and all work together
Let's help
towards
each
the
other.
same goal. Exactly.
Let's help each other, let's support each other.
Exactly.
We believe the rising tide lifts all boats. There's
It
plenty of
absolutely does.
room.
It
Come on,
does.
women out there, join us, tell your story, build a house.
Yes.
Let's
Take
do
the next
this.
step, and even if it's not speaking or building, just take the next step in whatever your passion is. So thank you for tuning in today and joining us with Jeanette Jurczyk. We really appreciate your time today, and we'll have some links for you to see everything that we've referenced in this video.